number 8 is now done, boss. Can you talk us through the reasoning behind the arrival of Shefki Kuqi, please?
I think we've all known, probably supporters as well as anybody else, that we need a striker of his ilk, to be honest. And with Doyle and Lee, we've got two good players, good movement between them. But obviously they need a little bit of help when we're playing them in the team. And Shefty fits the bill great from that point of view. Like you say, good target man and can feed off things into the box. Very good finisher, great record of playing games over the period that he's played. And another big plus is that he brings massive experience into a group that is young, but obviously we're adding bits to it now in relation to experience. If you look at the players we brought in, the likes of Deegan, McPake, Williams, Shefty now as well, Clancy, good experienced players, Alan Mabry, and there's a good group there with trying to get a balance of, I've said this at the start, was on the pitch obviously is the most important thing, but off it, teaching them the game the right way and the younger players in there feeding off that. So yeah, we're delighted to get them in. We've been patient. I think in all the signings we've made, we've been patient. We've set ourselves targets and we've got most of them now, so we're delighted.
So obviously experience, but also a huge frame. Were you looking to try and address the perhaps lack of physicality that was in the Hibs team that you originally inherited, and to try and bring in some real kind of size, so to speak?
Yeah, I think we definitely, if you look at the team at the weekend, physically we weren't massive, but I think you've got to try to get a balance right here, because you can have boys that are 6 foot odd but can't pass the ball, and the important thing is we've got real good balance in the team at the moment. We've got, at the weekend, with 4 midfielders that move the ball really well, we're comfortable on it. Off set pieces, it may have caused us a problem, particularly against Hearts, who are a big side. So we've got to try to get that balance right, that we've got a good group and a good squad, that we're able to change it, that sees fit in relation to the team we're playing, the opposition, and what way teams play. And he gives us a great opportunity to be able to play that way now and play different systems with it. So it's a great signing for us.
To what extent as well does he provide that outlet? If we are under pressure, to try and just play the ball up to Shefki, and he can hold it up.
Yeah, I think if you look at all the teams that have done well in the SPL, the Dundee Uniteds, the Motherwells, St Johnstone last season, they all had that way out as well. A lot of them want to play. Even St Mirren now this year have, obviously got in. They thought they might need a bigger target man. They want to pass the ball, but at times, particularly in this league, particularly when the going gets tough and the weather changes a little bit, you need to be able to mix the game up, and that's what we've tried to do.
So obviously you're looking at it as a two-pronged attack, or you obviously reverted back to a 4-4-2, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I think he gives us an option as well as playing with 3 up, with Doyle and Lee playing with him, So like I said, it gives us an option to be able to play different ways, and I think that's important, that you can play a system that goes well and teams read it a little bit, and after watching it a bit, so you've got to be able to change it and us to dictate the play to teams rather than the other way around, and he gives us them options now. We've got, like I said, we've got 3 good forwards that are different, and then we've got 2 young boys who are different again in relation to Danny and Roscoe. And from that point of view, for Danny and Ross, it's great to have someone of his experience, and even for Lee and Doyle, because they're not old players. They haven't played loads of games. They've done well for us, but he gives them something that they can learn off. He's played a lot of games at the age he is, and so he's obviously doing a lot of things right, both on and off the pitch. So, like I've said from the start, we need to get that into this football club. That's been missing, and we've got to be able to bring players in like that. That will help the younger players, not just in the first team, but in the under-20 team as well.
Obviously, throughout pre-season, I thought we defended really, really well. Goals were relatively scarce. It looks as if you've now addressed the sort of attacking armoury, so to speak. You brought in the target man. In terms of the width, though, to the team, David Wallacebean, you mentioned you thought it was his best game under you so far. Do you see him now as perhaps a right winger? Is that the way forward for him?
No, I think the good thing with D as well, he can play in a couple of little positions. He's in pre-season, he played well off a striker, and again, it's looking at different ways of playing. I think if you give the system with 1 up, if it's Shefty and players off him, well, then it gives you a platform to build. So it's trying to, I think, just sitting David into one position. I don't think he's at the moment he's a definite. Whether he's a centre midfielder, right side of midfielder, one off the front man, he can play in a few different areas for us, which is great, and it's good for him as well. And we've got to utilise what he brings to the team as well. I've said before, I think pre-season he's been very good. I thought he was very good last week. He's got to take encouragement for that and belief in himself.